WCW, Great American Bash, 1997. Someone's career ends on this show, folks. Got a retirement on our hands, everybody, and we all know pro wrestlers stick to their retirements. I mean, this show has all the staples of what made WCW great. We got cruiserweight action, the NWO, the Harlem Heat, the Steiners, DDP and Macho Man in the main event, and we got Ming getting carted off on a stretcher and then getting dropped off a stage in the process. It's a wacky show, but that's WCW for you, everybody. So get your WCW burgers on the grill and put on some Kevin Nash ketchup and some Sergeant Craig Pittman lettuce. I don't know. I ran out of gas there. Hey, it's the Apron Bump Podcast.
Yeah. The hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get it started.
What is up, everybody? What the gosh darn heck is up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I am your host, the hardest part of the ring, Kyle. Glad to have you all here. Take a seat. Sit down. Stop with the applause. Come on. Come on. Shit, that's the wrong one. I suck. I want to do this. Right? Like, everybody sit down. Come on. Stop, you. What? Fucking, I deserve that. Fucking shock jock asshole with my soundboard. Well, everybody, we got a bash on our hands today, and it's a bash that's great, and it's also American, straight out of the Gulf of America. We got Great American Bash 1997 on our hands today. Just a really good card, man. Just 97, mid-97 WCW. We're cooking. We're cooking. It's kind of in a lot of ways, a continuation of the previous pay-per-view, Slamboree. We got DDP and Macho Man in a rematch. Theirs was at Spring Stampede. But again, that feud is still continuing here in another tremendous match between those two. The chemistry is just like, it's interesting to talk about. There's a lot of interesting things that play with it with those two. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. Psychosis versus Ultimo Dragon. I mean, just prime cruiserweight division here, and it's been a while since we've seen a good cruiserweight banger on these shows, so I'm happy that has returned. But at the same time, we got some football guys just doing meathead shit at each other. Mongo McMichael versus Kevin Green, Steiners and Harlem Heat. We got the Dungeon of Doom imploding. We got, speaking of rematches, we got another death match between Chris Benoit and Ming. The first one was amazing. Does the second one live up? What? You think I'm just going to tell you now, assholes? You stop listening? No, you're going to have to continue to watch or listen or taste, however you take this in. But there's a lot to get into. A lot to get into with 1997 wrestling. Speaking of which, speaking of the 97 wrestling landscape as a whole, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the podcast, where the hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues, where we pit WCW against ECW against WWF. Those three companies battle it out to see who is the best in 1997 at this point in time. So as of June of 97, we look at the best and the worst that each company has given us. Matches, characters, overall shows, TVs, pay-per-view, everything. Right, and there's a whole scoreboard and a scoring system. We'll get into that at the end of the episode. And whichever company wins by the end of 1997 will earn themselves a purchase of a championship belt from yours truly. As you can see behind me, the WWF Intercontinental Championship, displayed proudly as WWF was the hardest in 1996. So stay tuned for the 97 edition. Again, end of the podcast. I feel like I've said that 5 times already. But hey, speaking of 5 times, you know who is somebody that I would kiss on the mouth 5 times? Is my guest today, Juice, from the Juice Box wrestling podcast. Returning to the show, always a good old time with my boy Juice Springsteen. All of his socials are in the description. His podcast, the Juicebox Podcast. He gets into it all. He talks the current product. He has a show with Andrew Baydala on that same feed where he gets into other stuff, a lot of the business side of wrestling, as well as the other kind of creative elements. I've been on his show as a part of his SIP series where he talks to other creators just as a general kind of a yap sesh about wrestling and wrestling podcasting and all that stuff. So go check that out, if nothing else. You want to dip your toes in his water, but he's a fun guy. I always love having him on, especially to talk WCW, which he is a expert on that matter. So we have a hoot talking some Gab 97. What else? All, I guess, just follow me on all the socials in the description. Join the Discord. If you like this era of wrestling, see the link in the description. That'll bring you to all of these Wrestling Wars of the 90s episodes that I've covered chronologically from all those three companies, WWF, WCW, ECW, starting from WrestleMania 10. I've covered every single show from each of those companies up until this point chronologically. And now we are in mid 97. So that's 3 years just in that timeline alone. And it's been a wild ride. A lot of this I'm watching for the first time. So it's interesting to kind of take this journey in 2025, watching some of this old wrestling. But hey, I've babbled enough. Let's get into the program. WCW, Great American Bash, 1997, with myself and Juice Springsteen from the Juicebox Podcast.
Talk about him today. Wrath. It's root beer wrath. How about I should have let me get in there.
You gotta get into character, right? And I'll get the mango mortis, right? That's probably their next flavor.
Mango mortis. Well, no, there is a mango. What's it? Their flavor, the names are amazing. Like I'm drinking Dead Billionaire, which is Arnold Palmer.
Oh, okay. I've had the Dr. Death, which is also a wrestler.
That's also wrestling. I love that one too.
It's good, yeah. I'm trying to like decrease my caffeine, so as I drink an energy drink as I do this. But other than that,
well, I'll do coffee or Red Bull in the morning. But like when I'm home or something, like this is so much better than cranking through anything. I don't know. It's just I don't know what it is. Is it the look of it plus the fact that it's like a diet sort of version of what you love?
Right.
Because like the cola and Dr. Pepper ones are. I mean, you can fool me.
I mean, you could definitely tell, but it's like close enough to where it's like, I wish they were a little cheaper. Otherwise, I'd probably get them more often.
Absolutely. But I find myself at least, I don't know, I'd rather spend money on that than like, if I'm buying a 12 pack of Pepsi, I'm feeling like I'm really killing myself here.
Yeah. You know what I've become a slut for recently is
what?
Diet ginger ale.
Ooh, why?
I don't know. It's just it's like a carbonation, but there's no caffeine. It's no like sugary bullshit. It's just a nice base layer of what I'm looking for in pop, as you say. Do you actually call it pop?
I call it pop up here in Pittsburgh, but we get
Where's
soda,
the kick
whatever.
From studio button. How do I get guys from?
It's down here.
And block this guy. Don't contact me. Mute and block. I don't know if that matters, but we'll do that. A lot of glacier talk, I'm sure we'll get into.
We have a lot of WCW burgers to eat.
WCW burgers. Please tell me what that is.
What do you mean?
Is it an actual thing or is it just for the...
It's the shirt.
Is that what they were serving at the VIP section?
Yeah, or at the makeshift table that the Public Enemy brought out purely to talk to Gene, which I kind of dug because Gene sat on it. Like he was like, this is stupid, but I'm going to go with it because I'm getting paid.
Yeah, I was very anxious watching that, but we'll get to that.
I have an interesting point about that, so I'm looking forward to talking about that.
What a tease. This guy's a professional. This guy's a professional broadcaster, folks.
I wish I got paid.
I am with you, but I'll tell you who did get paid is probably the people on this show, Great American Bash. WCW, 1997. Where does this show fall in your... So obviously, you're the WCW guy. Is this like a go-to show for you? Is it like a middle of the road? Do you hate this show? Where you stand on this little program?
So for 97 standards, this is pretty close to the middle, if not the bottom of the shows, at least for this year. That's just because this year was so damn good.
Yeah.
97 across the board, as I've mentioned across this show, any of the shows I've been on. But I mean, this is a show I would go to purely for the main event. I mean, the biggest part of WCW in 97 outside of the Sting Hogan thing, and maybe celebrities to a lesser extent, but would be Savage and DDP. And this is where they had their second match. I mean, it was, as we go through here in my notes, it was wild that they're going over the card, and then it's the main event is a non-world title match between two guys, and it's just, I remember, not this, I was 4, but I remember in this type of era, the world title was last. The world title was on. Yeah. And then, so anytime there's a world title absent from the show, it was always unique. What are they promoting? And for them to promote this, I thought it was pretty cool. And they even branded it as 2.
Yeah, especially because like DDP, like it's easy for us to watch this now and be like, oh yeah, DDP's the guy in WCW, but he's still
how could you not see him as a star? He's so natural. It's like it took him 6 years.
Exactly. Like even like a year before this, he was fucking just a main of or whatever Saturday night or main event guy. He was doing stuff with the booty guy or what's his name? Booty Man.
Booty Man. Oh yeah.
Booty guy. The booty guy. Yeah, all of a sudden he just like a switch flipped. I think it's just like the culture of the time. Like every company had something similar. Like I think WWF obviously had Steve Austin, which I think like scratched a similar itch.
It is interesting. Yeah, because I was going to say, well, DDP kind of elevated because of the NWO. Steve Austin kind of elevated, at least at first, because of Bret Hart. But I would look at those two the same, where it's Hart and Austin, and you got Savage and DDP. And I do want to bring this reference up because maybe I've been too over the top with my comparisons of, hey, you were at AEW last night. My comparisons of Hangman and Swerve to Rock, Austin, I brought that up in the sense that they both don't like each other yet. As time has gone on, they've respected each other. But the more I think about it, it's almost like they're DDP and Randy Savage. They literally will go out of their way to murder the other person. Yet I do sense some sort of unspoken respect there. So I don't know.
Yeah, Rock and Austin's a tough one. It's like hard to compare anything to that just because of how like how things happen. Like Austin got big and then he got injured and then The Rock got big. So there's this like organic growth of both of them and then they just ended up colliding. Whereas like you would have to have like a specific set of circumstances for that. I would say like maybe even like MJF Hangman is probably closer to that. Maybe not yet, but eventually.
Well, right. And it's also 6 years into the company's existence. So it's really tough to, we're so early that we haven't gotten like a guy that's been in AEW his whole career and then like he retired. Like we're early in this whole process that it's tough to we always want to parallel things. This is all wrestling is nostalgia. It's like, what can we compare it to?
Oh, how many new Steve Austins have there been over the years? Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Becky Lynch. It's like, no, just.
I mean, Kevin Owens did bring out Steve Austin out of his retirement, so I'll give him something.
He did. He's probably the closest, but yeah, man. No, it was a fun time in wrestling for sure. I mean, as me watching it essentially for the first time, like even ECW's killing it at this point. So everybody's
97's unbelievable.
And like one big takeaway I had from watching the show is kind of more of just like a general thing is like
sure.
Especially because I mean, being at AEW last night, obviously it was a great show, and like the way athleticism has evolved over time is like great, obviously. But I think there's something to be said, like watching these '97 shows, and like the crowd is like molten hot. For stuff they need to be hot about, like they weren't hot for Conan and Hugh Morris, but like
no,
anything that had any sort of quality. The crowd was into. They were with every second, and it feels like the wrestlers don't have to do much to elicit those reactions. Is that like a part of your fandom of WCW? Is like it's almost like simplicity, like the simplicity in it, but how effective it is.
I would say and it's not to disparage that WWF didn't have that, but it's like you just talked about ECW. ECW was always maybe not over the top, but they'll bring you a match, but you'll get like a lot extra than you would have expected. Like you get the same match in WCW, you'll get half of what you got in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
And you just bringing up like the quality or like any quality and the crowd's popping for it. That's just what it was. Even with the cruiserweights, like being a newer thing in 95, 96, 97, they weren't as hot as the main events, and now all the fans are looking for is amazing in ring. And that's why I've been liking the last 5 years when we got the bloodline, we've gotten story based things that's what the fans are really into, because after a while, it is exhausting to just be like, oh, another great match. Like, that's all we can say, though. There's not much substance to it. But to AEW's credit, that's what they do well. And I thought last night, out of any of the nights, like I tweeted this, they are so PWG at the heart because, I mean, Excalibur's their guy. But, Tony Schiavone's on commentary too. So they got some WCW in there, and I see that with their camera work and how they do some things. So it's an amalgamation, AEW is, of like all the best parts of these companies in the past with an ECW like fan base. And they're trying to create their own niche while celebrating everything that came before them. And to your point, the simplicity of WCW, Flair's throwing chops in here and the crowd is ready to blow the roof off. Right. Like it's like that. Yet, Psychosis and the Ultimate Dragon, we'll get to, they're doing unbelievable stuff in and out of the ring, and the crowd's into it, but they're not as on fire. And it's just wild how that's turned and amalgamated throughout the years.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good segue into the opening match here: Psychosis versus Ultimate Dragon, I guess.
Oh yeah.
As of right now, for those unaware, the cruiserweight champion, I believe, is 6. Right?
Yeah, he had the belt.
So not a title match here, but I guess of sorts, a number one contendership, maybe per se. Obviously, I mean, the action's really good here. I mean, there's like ton of Psychosis and Ultimo Dragon, especially in '97. It was very innovative for its time, but it was striking to me how into Ultimo Dragon the crowd was, because newly turned babyface. I mean, him or Sonny Ono just turned on him at the last pay-per-view, but the crowd is like I said, ultimately, he's not doing that much. Like in the beginning, he's like throwing some kicks and stuff, and the crowd is just losing their minds. So, and Psychosis on the opposite end, I feel like is like low key a good shithead heel, like just like kind of the way he's mocking the crowd and everything. So, I mean, I thought this was a really good match. Arguably, I mean, DDP Macho was really good, but I put this up as one of the best matches of the night. What do you say?
I agree. I first wanted to bring up how over Bobby Heenan was even at the announce desk when they first start off, because if you notice, every one of these damn pay-per-views, you hear people chanting Weasel, and they like, all they're doing is seeing these guys from afar, cutting the opening promo. This is what they're doing. And then they're going nuts. And you can always see Bobby Heenan be like,
shout out the red, white, and blue color coordination among those guys, by the way.
I wanted to say that. And I also just the USA aesthetic for this show, the guardrails, they really went all out. Like, that's all I can ask for. Like, their pay-per-view sets are always to the nth degree.
And DDP, like the opening package, it's like DDP's following the American dream. It's like it all just
the American worker, the American dream. Love perfect. That. With Psychosis and the Ultimate Dragon, I think Sonny Ono was the catalyst for why Dragon was beloved, because I would wager that even in some of the early Ultimo Dragon matches in '96, he's still very popular, even though he had this POS manager. Like, people were still buying everything he was doing. So as soon as they flip that switch, it's like, oh, well, how could we not love Ultimo Dragon? I thought Psychosis looked like Optimus Prime with his gear here.
I see it. A hairy version.
Yeah, yes. What else? I said, oh man, there's a tilt-a-whirl, that crucifix thing in like a rack, and he dropped him as a shoulder breaker. That was nuts. Did you ever notice? I feel like Jerry Seinfeld. You ever notice?
What's the deal?
What's the deal with WCW and their entranceway cam whenever the luchadors are on the outside of the ring?
Was that? What was is there like a different angle?
Like, every time, like, Psychosis got kicked to the outside, they have that angle looking right at the ropes to where he does the acai moonsault. But they hit that camera like 15 times in this match, Every time they get out, you never know. Someone's going to fly over. Someone's going to. I think they like perfected that as a unique angle to get that.
It's like the famous Ray plancha. I feel like that's like the go-to. Like the flip over the ref. Yeah,
which would have been what, like a year prior at Great American Bash.
I believe so. Yeah.
Some of the first Ray stuff. Yeah. Crazy guillotine leg drop. His back spring elbow was amazing. He hit the acai moonsault. We've talked about how terrible Nick Patrick's ref cadence was. I thought Scott Dickinson's ref cadence here was fantastic.
There you go. Shout out Scott Dickinson.
It was quick. It was efficient. It was like real. Like they were kicking out really close. I don't know how close they were to botching it. I always love the jumping tombstone.
Who has a better tombstone? Ultimo Dragon or Undertaker?
Mongo.
Okay. That's fair. Nobody's going to yell at you for that right now.
No. And then he also hit Ultimo Dragon hit that it's like a suicide dive / plancha over the top rope, almost over the corner of the ring, like Ricochet does. That was
nobody was doing that at this point.
No, hell no. And then also the moonsault into the drop kick in midair from the top rope, and he caught him halfway. So many. I do not have as many notes on the majority of these other matches because this one really brought out a lot. So I enjoyed it, and the Dragon Sleeper of all things, of course, is the win. Good match, I felt overall.
Yeah, no, I mean, to your point, a lot of innovative stuff. Even like the apron stuff, it feels like so. As the apron bump, I just mean something. It seems very cliche at this point, like doing stuff on the apron, but like again, people weren't doing that kind of stuff. So when Psychosis does that guillotine leg drop on it, it's like, oh shit, it's pretty gnarly.
If it works, it works.
Sonny Ono is ever present in this one as well. Obviously, he's still salty at Dragon. I guess the story is that Ultimo didn't want to do his cheating shenanigans that Sonny wanted him to do, so that's why he turned on him. And Sonny's here with Psychosis, trying to distract him and whatnot. And he's throwing out his kick combination spinning back kick from Sonny Ono on the outside.
Yeah, he was hitting some moves in there. I'm like, is this a triple threat?
He could go. He could just throw him in there, I think. But he tries to do it a second time, but Ultimo catches him, and Psychosis prevents it with the plancha. So everything just tied together really well in this match. But like you said, Dragon Sleeper after Sonny Ono accidentally hits Psychosis when he was aiming for Dragon. So the storytelling elements were here. I thought they were really strong in this match on top of the athleticism, and with the cruiserweights, you don't always get both. So
that's what I was going to say. Even with a cruiserweight match, they're doing story. So now you're seeing like, hey, we can really add to this. It can still open a show, but we have some depth with story. It's not just people flying around. So I think that's the key to any show is if you've got something that people are going to like, can we add any more juice to it to make it that much better?
Especially, I mean, it's like their calling card, WCW, the cruiserweight division. So why not strengthen that, to your point? But also, another thing they're strengthening is WCW.com. Juice. We got old Chris Benoit being interviewed by some dork to be, well, what are your thoughts on the upcoming match? Because Benoit is just like talking, and you hear the fucking clicky, clacky keys after all of his words. Did you ever browse WCW.com as a youth there, Juice?
I believe it was WCWWrestling.com. And no, I didn't have internet until WCW folded. And even then it was dial up.
Right.
But I was waiting for you to drop some sort of, what did Benoit say in the interview? Well, he said that his dogs were located in the pool area. But I always found it interesting when they do have, even if they're fake clicking, or maybe they are typing that. I don't, what the hell do I know? But that would be kind of tough to hear a wrestler speak. You got to transcribe that quick, accurately-ish for people, and who knows how many people are even doing it.
Hey man, people go to school for that specifically, so
that's a thankless job. But I would have been on board as hell to be the guy typing back there while Raven or DDP or any of these guys are screaming at me.
Just playing Pac-Man on his computer. He's not even listening.
That's right. But yeah, I was like chatting with Benoit on the internet chat. That's can't do that now.
Nope, sure can't. Sure can. I'm glad I got some comments on that for his match later. But
His death match. Good
where
Lord.
he, and I quote, smothered his opponent to death.
Man, they're like, we got the death match with Chris Benoit, and I'm like,
starts with a
I don't have to
suicide
say
dive.
anything. I know the whole thing, dude. It was insane.
It is.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there. But before we get there, we got the Harlem Heat taking on the Steiner brothers. Yes. I mean, when you, are these like the top two teams in the if there was like a WCW Mount Rushmore, these two
tag teams?
Yeah.
Steiners, Harlem Heat. A case could be made for the Outsiders. A case could be made for, I guess, Sting and Luger as a team.
Yeah.
Outside of that, man, I mean, the Nasty Boys, you could give some credence there, but it's few and far between with how much. Chronic. Plenty of different State Patrol.
Who the hell is that?
Exactly. It was like Buddy Lee Parker and someone, and they were just like cops or whatever, because they had the WCW Special Forces with Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion. But
you
State
could just
Patrol,
be making up names that I would never know.
I know, that's the best part. But the best part with State Patrol was, of course, they're fucking jobbers, but Sting and Luger are tag champs, and it's the Lex Luger is kind of like a bad guy, but Sting doesn't know that. But they're tag champions because Luger cheated and Sting didn't see it. And they're doing an interview segment at the Clash of the Champions, and Bischoff's out there interviewing them. And the Road Warriors like make a triumphant return to WCW, and they're like, "We want a shot at the belts." And Sting's like friendly with them. He's like, "Yeah, let's hook them up. Let's do this." And Luger's like, "Wait a second. There's so many other teams that are deserving of a tag team title shot than you guys. You guys just got here. I mean, we've got, the Nasty Boys, the Steiner, State Patrol," and Eric Bischoff's like, "State Patrol?" So like, love that.
I know the segment you're talking about. I don't even remember them saying State Patrol. That's how how irrelevant they are in my mind, I guess. I need to go look up their catalog, though.
They were probably in one of the World War III matches.
Well, who wasn't? I think I was.
That's what I'm saying.
It was in my hometown, so I mean, I could have been.
Never know.
Well, we got Harlem Heat, Steiners here. I guess commentary suggests this is kind of like a number one contenders match as well.
Commentary's got some gems later on when they're talking about Madusa.
Oh,
get to that.
The deuce.
Just in regards how you're like, I guess it could be a number one contender. They were guessing on everything.
Oh, Tony Schiavone was just throwing stuff out all night, and everything was just like, what?
And we got a lot of Wah from Dusty, so I was thrilled with War coming back.
Not enough plunder, though. Not enough plunder.
No, not on this show.
A little bit at the end,
but not. Yeah, a little bit.
A little taste. The closer we get to Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, it's a little more unsettling to see him in a singlet and long hair. Like, it seems like he's wearing like a costume at this point. You know what I mean? Like, he's jacked. He has the goatee. He's like almost. It's like he's like a werewolf, like slowly transforming.
Yeah.
It's
very close. We're coming up on Super Brawl 8, so February of the next year.
Not Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can you afford me to pay me to wrestle? I don't know.
I think that's my third podcast in a row where I've made a reference to that, or someone has.
Good.
We're gonna keep that streak going. I'm gonna keep it going.
Hey, Luger's in the Hall of Fame. They should have played that clip before he went in, and then they didn't announce him at WrestleMania because he was too busy collecting a bigger paycheck at WrestleCon.
Well, pay him more. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, he didn't have enough to pay him. So you brought up Big Papa Pump. I just thought seeing any Booker T Scott Steiner interaction was wonderful, knowing we're going to get that in a heavy dose towards the end of WCW's run for the world title. So it's really cool. Yeah. And that's where I can really kind of solidify those two teams as Mount Rushmore, because both those two of the four guys there went on to become some of the biggest stars, world champions, Hall of Famers. Rick Steiner was a TV champion, US champion, whatever. Stevie Ray was a member of the NWO. That's it.
He teamed with Ahmed Johnson.
Big T, you mean?
Yes. Excuse me.
Because it was just Booker by then. And Stevie Ray was a part of the triple threat war games at Fall Brawl 98, which was a terrible match. I can't wait for you to get to that.
Me neither.
And I really thought it. I mean, I guess maybe I didn't realize where we were, but it was June '97. I guess the NWO. It's barely a year. Like the following month is a year in. Yet we're getting Vincent interference. It's like, man, I thought this started way later. I thought we were kind of still breathing with like Six and the Outsiders, and we got Vincent already causing havoc. I'm waiting for Horace to come in next.
I've said it before, because like as somebody who didn't grow up watching WCW, like I know the story how like WCW eventually grew to be too much and it got diluted, but I didn't realize how fast it happened. I mean, they already got
the NWO. You mean?
Did I say NWA?
No, you said WCW.
Oh yeah, NWO. Pardon me.
No, you're good.
But yeah, they got IRS in there. What Michael? Wall Street. Is he just Wall Street? He was like VK Wall Street. VK. But didn't they change him to like M Wall Street or something? Like they Michael Wall Street.
Yeah. I mean, there was a whole bunch of, I don't know. It's insane how many
boss
people
situation. Maybe I don't know.
Oh my God, the boss. Yeah. Guardian Angel,
who is also, I think, in the NWO, I believe, right?
Bubber. Yeah. They're doing a creative figure for him in the Monday Night Wars line.
Look at you.
They've done so many now. They have Kurt Hennig in NWO. They got Dusty when he turned it uncensored one of those years. They got Rick Rude in a suit. I think they got Virgil or Vincent. So they're like really, the Disciple they did. They're really getting these B characters. So, and Bubba Rogers is like the next one. So at some point you're going to have official Mattel WWE representation of the B team of NWO.
I love it. Do they have didn't they have like a Japan World Order or something?
Well, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
They got the idea from them. And there is an NWO Muda coming out, as a matter of fact. So you're good on that. But they don't have Masa Mahiro Chono.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah. His name was escaping me. But yeah, I mean, Harlem Heat Steiner, there's not a ton to say about it. It's just a big meathead tag team match, which is all it needed to be. Scott Steiner hits the Frankensteiner on the Booker, and then, like you mentioned, Vincent comes in with a shitty little elbow drop on the Booker T, but that's enough to get the disqualification on behalf of the Harlem Heat. So Harlem Heat wins via DQ, and you might be asking, what does Vincent have to do with any of this? Well, I guess the NWO and the Steiners, I mean, they have had many battles recently. The Steiners even beat them at Sold Out, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And so the NWO does not want to face the Steiner brothers again. So I guess they sent out Vincent to make sure that they didn't win. And mission accomplished, I guess. I mean, he got the, whatever you call it, the Bulldog Doomsday device afterwards, Vincent did.
Yeah, he paid for it. But
got to pay the price. But yeah, weird ending, but fine match, I get. But that's WCW.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God, Harlem Heat and the Steiners, here we go. And then it was just like, nope, NWO interference for a DQ.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anything else about that match tickle your pickle specifically?
No, nothing specifically. Like I said, just seeing Booker and Scott, like, 2 years. I mean, Booker had some wars with Rick Steiner as well. So, I mean, he's had interactions with both, but just knowing where they're going to go with singles guys was like really cool to see at the tail end of Scott's babyface run. Yeah,
for sure. But the hits just keep on coming.
The
Dungeon of Doom is imploding, ladies and gentlemen. We got Conan versus Hugh Morris. It's a blood feud. You wouldn't know it by the little to no intensity in this match, but it's a blood feud.
Yeah, this is nothing.
Conan is awesome when he's facing smaller guys because he can just throw guys around. Yeah. He's like kind of clunky, but in a good way. But when it's like a bigger guy,
he's trying to do that leg sweep clothesline on Hugh Morris, and his leg is like a tree trunk. You can't do it, so everything looks clunky.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of I feel like miscommunication in this. There was one point where Hugh went to the top rope to hit his moonsault, and he's like, in his head, he's like, "Oh, Conan's gonna stop me," but Conan didn't get the memo. So he's just like frozen there on the top rope
just
for
standing
like
there,
10
yeah.
seconds. And then that leads to the finish eventually. He trips him up, Conan does, and then locks in the Tequila Sunrise for the submission. So Conan wins, and just clunky, weird match, I thought.
Did you ever drink a Tequila Sunrise?
Oh, I've had a few Tequila Sunrises in my day.
Yeah, very good.
How about you?
Those. Yeah, I think they're a pretty good drink, and I don't like tequila, but if you put it in some sort of bullshit drink, I will drink it.
If you add a little juice to it. What would be your cocktail if you had a cocktail named after you?
I mean, my favorite, it's gin and juice.
Oh,
it's already there.
I see. You don't strike me as a gin and juice guy.
I love gin, though. I'm a huge gin guy. I know. Crazy.
Weird.
Pine tree tasting vagabond over here. I love me some pine trees.
That's what they call you. The old vag.
That's what they say. There was a part in this where we saw a code red from Conan, which was interesting considering the last time that was ever done had to have been fucking Sergeant Craig Pittman at some other pay-per-view that we didn't watch.
I thought you were talking about like the code, like Amazing Red's code red. I was like, did I miss that in this match?
What did I miss?
Maybe I just blacked out for a little bit. That happens, but yeah, the arm bar,
the arm bar, and if there's one where he did it towards the hard cam near the ropes. Hugh Morris kind of got out of it, and then Conan hit him with like 10 straight stiff boots to the face, like in the face. And I'm like, did they plan that? I hope he's okay with this because he's just like drilling him with these. And they were boots to his head.
Yeah, Hugh Morris is not known for keeping it cool under certain situations.
No. So we also had this is a grade A Dusty quote. These are big men that are drained. I said, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
It's like trying to make excuses for them. Oh, it was something.
This is a fun fact. The last Hugh Morris singles pay-per-view match until, can you take a guess? And him as a person, not character, because Hugh Morris he has a few more random matches. No more singles matches, though, until...
Is he General Erection?
Slamboree 2000 as Hugh G. Erection.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow,
he had
2000.
He had a couple tag matches in between. He even had a tag match in 99 as a part of the Revolution, or he was a part of a team against the Revolution. But he was still Hugh Morris, but no singles matches for this person until he turned into Hugh G. Erection. So 3 more years until that fabled gimmick.
It's fun. I feel like the thing that Hugh Morris is most known for,
bullying.
Well, no, I was gonna say is getting squashed by Goldberg in his first match. I feel like that's like
September 22nd, 1997.
Oh, was that 97? I thought it was early.
Yeah, that's coming up. No, no, yeah, because Goldberg and you're gonna see Goldberg and Mongo have a Starrcade match.
That sounds fun. Like in a car crash kind of way.
There is a table spot that's like the most obvious table spot ever, and then it's the most like general, like gentle, easygoing fall into a table spot you've ever seen in your life.
I can't wait. But hey,
speaking
of table spots, we got Mean Gene Okerlund on the stage here. Plugging the hotline before his guests. He's plugging the hotline. He says, a man may be showing up on Nitro tomorrow. He's apparently having problems with his current organization. It's got to be Raven, right?
Okay, so if we're talking wrestling, yes. I took it as Dennis Rodman, although they promoted him for Bash at the Beach because they promoted him already in the Bash at the Beach thing. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not Rodman. But to me, this is, I'm skipping out on practice for the NBA Finals, which would have taken place probably right at this time. I didn't fact check it, but this is what I'm going with. And it was in Chicago tomorrow night. So I'm like, it's got to be Rodman in Chicago. Because I think Raven didn't he wrestle at WrestlePalooza 97?
He did. I think that was his last match, though.
Wasn't that? Was it? When was that? August or April?
It was before this because I just watched that recently. I think it was like a week or two before this.
I'm gonna do some. Let's see some NBA because this show was on Father's Day, correct?
Yes. Yeah. No, that's because I watched the was it the Last Dance documentary, and that was the story.
Oh yeah,
so he like skipped out on practice.
Isn't that incredible?
It's just and they still
WCW was more important than the NBA Finals.
The Bulls got enough players. They don't need old Dennis Rodman, right?
So this was June 15th. Okay, you might be onto something because they won on June 13th. So they won the whole series. Game 6 was 2 days before this. So it had to have been the following year that he had missed out on that practice. You're probably dead on with Raven.
So I do know Raven's coming to WCW soon at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I guess we'll have to tune in on Nitro this Monday to find out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yes, na 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 hey hey or whatever the song is or whatever the dubbed Peacock version is.
Na 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 na. They're good. La di da di da di. We like to party. You gotta get up to get down. You gotta play the non-Peacock version. I'm so happy that we got WCW on YouTube now. Although they put up Super Brawl 6 and Public Enemy wrestled. I gotta watch that to see if they do use that music. Now that I think about it.
I don't think I've ever heard their WCW music. Is it? I just assumed it was. I guess it wouldn't be Hop Stepper because.
I mean, you just heard me sing it.
That's all I need, right?
That was it. It's just la da da da, la da da da. Yeah,
I like that. It gets me hyped to see the Public Enemy.
They were over for a hiccup,
dude. I think as time goes on, I think I hate the Public Enemy. I liked their ECW stuff. I think they fit the ECW thing well.
Not every ECW character translates the same like the Dudleys do. Raven does. And it's like, Sandman is Hack? I don't know.
Don't know. It's I mean, they've had their moments, but I mean, they're not on the card here, but they're here with Mean Gene. They're just, basically like, oh, why are the Harlem Heat the number one contender? Is not us, or however Rocco Rock says it. Listen to you, Gene. The way he talks. And
you sound like a podcaster in the IWC.
Listen here. The creative needs to get but
are you fucking kidding me?
This fucking guy. Let me tell you. I don't know anything he says, otherwise I'd go more into it.
But are so ridiculous. Tony Khan doesn't know what he's talking about.
He needs to get his hand out of his ass. All right, I'm losing. I'm turning more into Donald Duck or something. And then they bring out a table, by the way, for this interview. Public Enemy does, which I like. Whatever.
It was cool because they set it up. I thought it would have been how funny would have been just go off script and just put Gene through the table and then they get immediately fired.
I thought they all three sit on it. They all three sit on it, and the table holds them, which I feel like the table's broken under less stress before. But I don't know.
It wasn't a gimmick table then.
Oh,
you're not gonna gimmick the table on the ramp.
Maybe it's one of those Japan tables that just don't break.
Oh my god! Or they only break with like a hole in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Did you notice before we head off with it? Did you see what Rocco Rock was doing as they were walking towards the ring?
I did not.
So they do this as this is their thing.
Oh,
when they were trying. Yes, Rocco Rock was yeeting.
The original yeeter, Rocco Rock.
Yeah, I think you should clip that. I wanted to say it now. I wanted to save it because I didn't want to be like, hey, look out for this. But he definitely yeeted, and I was like, oh. 25 years ahead of time.
I always knew Jey Uso was the modern day Rocco Rock. I always knew it. But does that make the Usos the modern day Public Enemy? That's the question.
Yes. A little bit less successful, but
a little bit. Yeah. I don't think Rocco Rock got a world title run. I don't believe.
Oh, no. I was saying the Usos weren't as successful as Public Enemy.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, you're dead on there, sir. But we shift from that to a little Mortal Kombat action. We got
Kombat
Wrath with James Vanderberg and Mortis taking on Glacier. Blood runs cold. And the added stipulation is that Mortis must be handcuffed to the ring post so he can't interfere, which, like, if you don't want this guy to interfere, maybe just don't have him out to the ring.
Could have been done.
I don't know. Was it JJ Dillon? Is he the commissioner at this point? Or
I don't know if he's
what's his face
at this point.
I don't know.
No, I mean, he would have been the commissioner. I mean, it wasn't Commissioner Piper yet.
No. I think it's JJ. Pretty sure. But he needs whoever it is needs to get their ducks in a row because they need to figure it out. But I like the lore that they've added here, which I don't think they've really mentioned, like what the tie-in is between Mortis and Glacier up to this point, and they basically suggest that Mortis was a martial arts fighter in the States, but he got suspended by too many organizations, so he had to go fight in Southeast Asia. But as they were fighting in Southeast Asia, they saw that Glacier got hired by WCW, which allegedly he's an old nemesis of Mortis, and that's how we're here.
They must have found that out on WCWWrestling.com.
Was that on the hotline? Do you got to pay the
$159 per minute?
Yeah. Thanks, Gino. Or whatever. What do you call it?
It is a toll, I guess, but it's just funny how you phrase it as if they were just like passing through the phone.
Yeah, it's kind of what it is when you really think about it.
Well, because they say toll free, so it is a toll.
Why. It is a toll. See,
but I've never heard someone phrase it like and use toll. I've only heard the phrase toll free. I've never heard like you got to pay the toll at
It suggests that there's a toll if it's toll free. So
and what the hell? It usually was $1.59 for the first minute, 99 cents for each additional minute. Whenever they brought it up this time, it was $1.59 every damn minute, which maybe it's a pay-per-view upcharge, but
thanks bullshit. Tariffs. So we got Wrath versus Glacier here, and I think I definitely prefer the Glacier Mortis matches, but I'm a big Wrath guy, Glacier guy, so not really too many complaints from me from this one. What do you think about it?
I like Ernest the Cat Miller too whenever he got into the fold, but I really liked all these guys like this type of thing, and I've said it before. I wish this would have come out in like 94, 95. This would have been so much more over. Because even so, I think it got somewhat over at a point. Like Glacier got over. Mortis is one of the best in-ring workers ever. So whenever he would wrestle was always very interesting. But they had the finish was what? That chain that was kind of on accident. He threw it too far. Oh no. That's why Mortis was out there. I know, he thought it was fall brawl. And then the cryonic kick.
That's fun. Cryonic. That should have been there. Was that not their finisher? Should have been. No,
what was their finisher? I know what's his face was the meltdown by himself.
Wrath.
Yeah, Wrath. But what the hell was there?
It was like a double choke slam, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's got to be a weed reference. I can't remember what it was called though.
Well, I gotta know now.
I'm looking up too.
Finisher. Let's see here. The first question that pops up is who were the ding dongs in WCW?
Oh no, you love to see that.
I think that's something I've looked up before. Actually, that's probably why it popped up. Double choke. Is it not just a double choke slam?
It's got to have a nickname. It's got to have a nickname.
We're pulling up to see this. There's a compilation on YouTube. Maybe it'll be in the comments somewhere. We got
double choke slam.
High time.
High time. Yeah, that's
time.
It. Oh man.
Yeesh.
Underrated match. Chronic versus Goldberg 2-on-1 Halloween Havoc 2000.
I've heard that's not bad.
You just heard it.
You wouldn't
heard it here first, folks.
Hot off the presses. But yeah, it's a whatever match, I guess. Mortis, who is, like we mentioned, handcuffed to the ring post, has another chain in his pocket for whatever reason. I don't know why that was his weapon of choice. But he has his clunky ass chain in his tights. Pulls it out as Vandenberg is distracting the ref / trying to pickpocket him for the key for the handcuffs that Mortis has. All of this hullabaloo is happening. Mortis throws the chain to Wrath, but he overthrows it. Glacier catches it, wraps it around his fist, punches Wrath with it, then hits the cryonic kick off camera and then he gets the pin.
Oh my god, I know. How many times are they gonna miss spots? WCW, man.
Because I was watching it, I was like, I thought he just did like a delayed sell. I thought he did like the and then falls over. But no, he kicked him. So Glacier wins, but Wrath and company attack after the bell, and they leave him laying. So who wins now? You know what I'm saying?
It's just funny that I've praised WCW's production value for camera work, the guys on the apron, the guys getting into the cage, the referee, as panned as that might have been. It's a real thing now.
Yeah.
WWE's using it. That they've missed so many spots. Like, they really love production. They do excel at it. They were a TV company that did wrestling, yet they still somehow missed all these spots. And not just spots, like finishing moves.
The ending stretch, the climax they missed, which never want to miss that off camera. So
no,
Wrath Glacier, fine stuff, I guess. Ernest Miller is around. He didn't stop by for this one. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's dancing over there somewhere, or if he's finding his mama or something.
Maybe he was too busy watching Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley that came out that year.
That could be, man. I don't think I've ever seen that. There's Beverly Hills Cop, right? That's a different movie.
Yes, a more celebrated movie, yes.
Yes. Well, I like Chris Farley, so I'll go check that out.
It was, I think, his second to last movie before he passed away. He passed away in 97, but he had a movie come out in 98.
Oh, posthumorous.
Yeah, man, he's always funny. Chris Farley's always funny. Everything he did. So he very posthumous, early humorous, all of them.
Man, well, I'll tell you, it's not humorous.
I thought this was hilarious.
Well, it was pretty funny, actually. It was very humorous. The WCW Women's World Title is on the line. The champion, Akira Hokuto, taking on Madusa. And if Madusa loses, her career is over. Why are you laughing there, Juice? This is very serious.
Evidently, her career is over.
It's over.
Here's some of these quips, though. I'm sorry. We've got, if Hokuto loses the title, she's still the number one contender, but it wasn't stated because of a rematch. I would have wagered it was because she was the only other wrestler in the company that could fight for the title. And then I guess we can cut to later on just for this, but they cut to Madusa getting her knee checked in the back. And Tony Schiavone's like, oh man, her knee, that could put her out for a few months. Look, I know her career's over, but I'm like, come on,
really gotta put her down.
Is it over or isn't it over? It was they had no idea how to present this. And again, the fact that they reference Hokuto, well, if she loses the title, she'd still be number one contender, but they never alluded to why. And I doubt it would be because she gets the first rematch. I think it's because she was the only other competitor.
It'd be her, and I mean, is Luna Vachon still around? I don't even know.
I don't. There's no way.
They'll find another Japanese lady to fight her, I guess. Meiko Satomura's around, which I think she's actually in the women's cruiserweight division, so that wouldn't work. Oh
my god, the women's cruiserweight title. How niche can we get?
It's great stuff. I mean, women's wrestling, we all know where it was in 97. I mean, Madusa was great. Hokuto was great. This match actually wasn't bad. It wasn't like the smoothest match, but it had some pretty good fire to it, I thought.
A lot of stiff work. I could notice Madusa, like, God, I don't know how this, again, I'm not a pro wrestler. What the fuck do I know? But, like, Medusa's head's outside of the ring, and Hokuto's grabbing her hair for the spot. And, like, you can see Madusa grimacing. And it's not because she's selling. It probably really hurts. But to me, I think they are willing to hit a threshold of, before the match, we're going to talk, like, go as far as you can. I'll let you know, or something. Like, but it looks like she's really, really in a lot of pain. And a lot of these spots throughout the night, I'm like, are they letting each other know, like, oh, you're good. Lay it in. Because, man.
Yeah. Stiff McGiff here. It's Japan for you, though. Akira Hokuto, Sonny Ono. It's probably Sonny Ono's fault out there with her.
He was the New Japan liaison, so
it all makes sense. If you had to guess how many title defenses of the women's title there have been since its inception, which was Starrcade 96, and we're
Isn't
in
it?
June
We
97.
talked about this. Isn't it twice?
So I actually looked it up. This is the 5th defense.
Or there's only 2 champions.
Yes. Or that might have been the cruiserweight one. I think there were like 4 women's world champions and 2 cruiserweights champions. I could be wrong though. It's something along those lines, but yeah, it's a lot of defenses. They always happen on Pro or whatever the hell, worldwide.
Oh, Pro. Love that.
Yeah, dude.
Sunday morning wrestling.
Match is funny. Madusa, she comes out, crowd's kind of with her. She's doing like all like the face busters and whatnot. And but at some point, Madusa comes off the top rope for a double axe handle and allegedly hurts her knee in the process. So
Yep.
Hokuto sees blood in the water and attacks it. Knee breakers, submissions, all that stuff. It feels like just a big chunk of this match is Hokuto just beating the shit out of her knee. And then Madusa hits a German suplex with the bridge, and Sunny pulls her leg to break the pin. I would have liked to just see her like drop the bridge because of the leg work, but I don't know.
Speaking of leg work, and I don't know how great everybody thinks Akira Hokuto is, but at one point she's trying to attack Madusa's leg, and it is very clear that it is not the right leg, and Madusa is holding the correct leg. And even points, and was it Sonny Ono? They direct like other leg, like they say it, and like this is it. This is the leg. Hit the other one, and then then she goes and attacks it. And I did look women's title, not to be confused with the cruiserweight. Starrcade, Hokuto defeated Madusa, and then it was vacated after this show when Hokuto left the country, and. And then Devil Masami won the title in Kawasaki, Japan in 97, and that was it. It was deactivated in 98. So there were only 2 champions.
Man, you hate to see it. Really, I don't know, man. I guess bring on the Nitro Girls, I guess. That's what they're for, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I give them credit for trying, but they did a lot more with like Nakano and Madusa than anybody else, to be fair.
Dude, that series of matches they had in WWF in 95, I guess it was just that was some of the best stuff the company did that whole year. Like it was that good. But I think those were like literally the only 2.
Well, that exactly. There was only so many, and like I said, there's only so many competitors that even were in wrestling, like as wrestlers at this point. Like we are still very manager centric. Well, we saw more women managers on this show than women wrestlers in the match. At least 3-2, maybe 4-2. So, yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I like seeing the representation on here, but like I said, her and Bull Nakano and WWF, they had a match at Hog Wild. So those were where WCW and WWF really peaked with women's wrestling in the 90s. Unfortunately, it was with 2 or 3 different wrestlers, and that was really the extent. But after the match, Madusa's crying. Bobby Heenan, she won't be standing in the unemployment line with that bad leg. Tony says, "Can we cut his mic off?"
You're disgusting. You know that.
Bobby Heenan, man.
So also, by the way, Mean Gene was much better because they're carrying out. By the way, Madusa loses. I don't even know if we mentioned that with the Northern Lights driver from Hokuto, so she gets the win, and so Madusa's out of here allegedly, and she's getting carried out. Her leg's been beat to shit. She's like limping to the back, and then we got Mean Gene. So Madusa, what do you think about losing your livelihood? How does that make you feel? And obviously she's like hurt and distraught, and she's just kind of moaning and crying, and she can't answer. And Gene's just like, "Oh, guess I'm not gonna get anything from her, a dumb bitch," or whatever. Paraphrasing.
That's exactly what he said.
So we'll see a Deuce.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Again, they talk about it later on after the Mongo match. Concerned about Madusa's knee, even though her career is over. And I'm like, why even have this segment? If her career, what is the point of this? Now, you'll see TV after this, so you'll have to catch me back up when we talk, I think, Fall Brawl, about if they ever mention Madusa again.
Well, she does come back eventually.
Well, yeah, to win the Cruiserweight title, to defeat Oklahoma.
Dude. I might quit before then. Who knows?
Vampiro!
Well, speaking of, so we had the death of Madusa's career there. Speaking of death.
Let's talk more death, baby.
Death match 2. Chris Benoit versus Meng. The jokes just write themselves. You know what I'm saying?
They do. And I expect a little bit more from this, but I did enjoy how they're just killing each other in there, quite literally. It just chop. 3 different cross faces.
I think the first one was better from the previous month, but this one, I mean,
yeah,
it was grueling and intense, which is like
grueling is a good word for it.
Yeah, especially like even the finish, you just felt that sense of like they're killing each other as per the death match. But I just like a fun dynamic between these two. You got, because both guys are intense, but you got Benoit's like more like calculated technical version versus Meng's just savage version. So I think it just meshed really well. Like there's one point where Benoit, I don't know why this hit me so much. He like tries to lock in a figure 4 on Meng, but Meng just like leans up and like tries to grab him from his back, but then Benoit grabs his arm and puts him in the crossface. So there's like a sense of like continuity with all their offense and realism and just authenticity between these two.
Yeah.
And it's a death match, so for anyone unaware, you can only win by submission or knockout. But I don't think it's no DQ. It's just you just can't pin.
You could grab the ropes to break the submission, which Meng did. There was again, the realism. Benoit tried to do a suplex from the inside or from the outside with Meng on the inside to take him out, and he barely got him over. And they just kind of, as soon as Meng got over the top rope, they both just kind of collapsed to the floor. And I've brought it up with Benoit matches before. It looks so real every time he's in there. Every kick, it looks like everything looks legit. And Meng is as legit of a tough guy you'll ever see in pro wrestling. Ask any pro wrestler that's ever interacted with him. And again, these are two guys that you don't know, outside of maybe Kevin Sullivan and Benoit. These two guys just beat the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I like your wording of grueling. It was very grueling, and I just imagine it was a sweaty, hot building. Oh. So to be in there, middle of June, in Moline,
the Quad Cities,
the
Quad Cities. But yeah, there's some good stuff in here. Ultimately, though, Benoit, after many attempts, locks in the crossface. Hasn't locked in for goddamn like 2 minutes, it feels like. But Meng eventually passes out. And so he submits.
Kind of.
Did he pass out or tap out? It was unclear.
He tapped a couple times, and Dusty was like, "You see that little tap there? The one, two tap. He even had that third tap in there. That he tapped out."
That's great analysis from Dusty.
Yeah, well, Bubber wasn't in the match, so he couldn't really get any other nicknames in. So he had to call the match how it was.
He's just here to give us he's the play-by-play at the end of the day.
Yes, he is.
Benoit had in the crossface, he had his hands over Meng's mouth, and Tony Schiavone says that he probably smothered him to death. So
we'll let that one breathe.
Yeah, or not breathe. You know what I'm saying? So that's fucking awful. But Benoit gets wheeled out on a stretcher, which,
Whoa. You know what I just realized? This match took place 10 years to the month of Benoit and all that shit happening. It was June 2007. That's crazy.
Death match. Yep.
That's crazy.
Here. That
Meng's just happened fault. Right now. I never even. It's Meng's fault. Good, tell him.
Meng did it.
Well, some people think Kevin Sullivan did it. That's how good stories were in WCW, baby.
The dungeon never dies, as they say. Even though
Sullivan
a lot of them did. Yeah, it's actually most of them are dead. But yeah, the grueling nature of it is highlighted at the end after the match. Neither guy can get up, and they both have to be wheeled out on stretchers or stretcher because
or gurney. Yeah, one stretcher. And here we go, WCW. I love filming the whole show except the parts that would really accentuate the broadcast, aka Ming falling off the stretcher. Why didn't we see this? They were like, I think Ming just fell off the stretcher. And I'm like, oh my God, this could have been the funniest thing ever to see this mammoth man who is as real as wrestling can get fall off the stretcher, whether it was on purpose or for effect. We missed it.
And I don't think he was strapped to the stretcher. Hopefully not.
No, he
so
wasn't.
We don't have like a. Or I was thinking Rey Mysterio getting baseball batted.
Oh
my God! Like, save his face.
And then he went straight down.
Which is really like the worst part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So poor Ming, because it cuts after this to a Mean Gene thing on the stage as they're wheeling Ming off, and like you mentioned, Ming falls off the ramp to the floor, which couldn't have been nice. And Gene couldn't even.
I forgot it was off the ramp.
Yeah, it wasn't even like just on the floor. It was like a brutal fall.
Drop.
When you're not expecting it.
We got to get another camera feed.
One day they'll find the technology. But yeah, I think Gene just kind of plugs the hotline again, laughs at Ming a little bit. That's pretty much there. But man, rest in peace, Mongo, man. First of all.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell of a fight for such an awful disease. I mean, he did what he could.
Yeah.
And I enjoy how it sucks that it has to happen because of this, because the same thing kind of happened with Luger, where people were like, and for other reasons, Luger was terrible. He was this, he was that. But even in ring, people didn't give him credit. And then like after he has all these health problems and you kind of see him working himself back in, it's like a new appreciation for Lex Luger. And everybody shit on Mongo. And I just remember the Botchamania clips where they play from McClintock, the clip of the guy saying, "Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo." And then they play whatever botch he did. And I always felt that it was funny, but now I look at it as I liked Mongo's authenticity. He never was trying to be a pro wrestler. He was a football player that wrestled. So shoulder tackles, crazy offense, clunky looking. He was what he was. And he got to face another, unfortunately, he passed away too, Kevin Green. And there was some fire in this match for two guys that are not wrestlers. So,
yeah. No, and to your point, they weren't in here trying to do drop toe holds and like spinning family credenzas. Like they're just shoulder blocks, clotheslines. Yeah, just again, I called Steiner's and Harlem Meathead guys, but this is a Meathead match. But that's what it needs to be. It's football players. It's big dumb football players.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's the Panthers and the Bears in an NFC matchup at the Great American Bash.
Gotta love it. I mean, yeah, I didn't have like a ton of notes on this one. The finish is funny, but I do like Kevin Green's parents ringside, which is an added touch. You know, Mongo's beating on Kevin Green on the outside, and then he sees them in their Panthers jerseys, and then the mom hits Mongo with her purse, which is probably loaded, I would have to imagine, right? So,
well, the Halliburton was loaded, and I was going to ask you what you thought was in there. I think I asked you last time.
I think probably we have
probably an uncensored 97.
Before. Yeah, the Halliburton always shows up, so it's had to have come up at some point. But
something's got to be in there. Maybe the AEW World Title's in there.
I mean, we can't say that it wasn't because we don't know. You know what I mean? There was money in there originally. But maybe
that's why AEW got in with Turner Networks, because they still have the connection. It was always a new world title for a new company in that Halliburton, but they never kept long-term storytelling.
I mean, see, these are the things that your expertise provides. Like nobody else would catch that, but the long-term storytelling is there. You just gotta look for it to see it. Yeah. So,
so I said, Kevin Green, I thought was a house of fire as soon as he ran to the ring. It was immediate.
Yeah.
Love that. Mama Green hitting Mongo with the purse and Bobby Heenan calling her a dirty, cheap, dirty Green. So he came up with some sort of nickname as if like she was a wrestler in her past. And I was like, this is amazing. There were some Mongo chants for sure. He was over because they were in Illinois. So, I mean, this is,
I didn't think about
Bear
that.
Country. Yeah. Really stiff neck breaker from Mongo, which I thought was pretty good for a non-wrestler. Kevin Green hit a Thez press, Mongo hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker that looked really good.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was like, what are we
I was
doing?
like, whoa.
Easy, Rey Mysterio and Dean
Is this
Malenko.
Ultimate Dragon? What's happening? Yeah, and then Kevin Green, that did what he needed to do. He ends up getting the win after the Halliburton fiasco. So good. I love that they kind of made this a whole year of story, because the big turn from Great American Bash 96 that you never saw coming, and it kind of floods now and a year later, and they get to pay that off.
Damn, I forget that was a year before this. I guess the football season happened, so they couldn't follow up then. So that makes sense. But to your point, glad they stuck with it. They finished it out and
finish the story.
Finish the story. Kevin Green did. You gotta love it. And with the Halliburton, because there's a lot to unpack there. So they're jockeying in the corner. Mongo and Green are. Jeff Jarrett comes in, 4 Horsemen stablemate of Mongo, and with the Halliburton, goes to smash Kevin Green with it, allegedly, but Green pulls in Mongo to block him as a meat shield, and Jarrett smashes Mongo. Was it by accident? Was it on purpose? Got to tune in on Monday.
You got to tune in. I mean, that's all they did at the end of this show was like, don't forget about Nitro. Like they tried to sneak in, like, remember, we do have a show tomorrow night.
Worked on me. Yeah. When I saw this, I was like, oh, Jarrett just hit Mongo on purpose. But then they showed the replay. I was like, oh, he kind of did like pull him in to block him kind of thing. But Jarrett didn't seem to care. So
he still whoppled him with it. So
if you got to commit to it, I guess. But yeah, so that gives Kevin Green the win. But yeah, no, I mean, it's 2 football players. People do forget that Mongo is like basically a celebrity wrestler. Like he's not like a wrestler. He's just a football player that's wrestling, but he's doing it pretty well. Like authenticity is a good word to describe it. Like he's a big character.
And that's what I loved about him. He was Mongo. He was not doing anything he wasn't. He was always just Mongo. And if you recall, when they brought him into WCW, because this is the same year that they did the Mania 11 thing with Lawrence Taylor. So Mongo was a part of that, like the posse of football players then. Mm-hmm. And then the debut episode of Nitro, and they're like, we're going to bring in a Emmy Award winning broadcaster. And people were like, man, with Pat Summerall, who would have been like the guy with John Madden back in the 90s for football. So you're like, oh my God, are they really getting this? And it was Mongo, because he had won Emmys. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they brought him in as like you said, a celebrity, big deal football. And they tied it all in with Kevin Green. And I thought it all worked. And for everything that they did, I mean, looking back on it, I think it was more successful than I probably ever gave credit for.
Yeah, and the Reggie White stuff thrown in there.
Oh,
and,
that too, yeah.
The 6-man from, what was the pay-per-view?
Slamboree.
Was it Slamboree? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Great match. So
yeah.
A match that included these 2 teams as well.
That's right.
World Tag Team titles are on the line here. We got the Outsiders, the champions, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, defending against Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. And it's just now occurring to me that these guys would be tag team champions in like 7 years, I believe, or whatever it was in WWE. 10 years. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
10 or 11 years way later. Yeah.
More long-term storytelling by these guys. It felt like a pretty quick match. This one?
Yeah, it did. Because they were getting to other business, like Flair kind of ditching Piper.
Yeah. Which is pretty much like the whole thing, yeah.
I found it interesting because I think Bash to the Beach, I think, is Flair versus Piper.
That would make sense.
1-on-1. But they reference, I guess they added 6 in there too, but 6 Hall and Nash as the Wolfpack. And we are long before we had the actual Wolfpack of split red and black NWO. So I always thought that was an interesting reference that they hit so early. And of course they didn't know what they were going to get, but it was interesting to see.
Yeah, well, they kind of got like a little bit of a split with the NWO. Well, I guess they came back together, right? Because they were like beefing. It was like Hogan and company and Nash. Did they do like a mini kind of split and then they came back together? It was like when Scott Hall was in rehab.
Oh, that was Kevin Nash. Later though, way later.
Well, that was before this.
You sure?
Well, the original, the Wolfpack was way later. Yeah, for sure.
But Scott Hall Rehab, Rehab on screen, off screen, or both?
Maybe it wasn't Rehab. Maybe it was I'm pretty sure it was Rehab. It was before that. It was like a month or two before this. But I'm sure he's had multiple stints of those. So maybe there's...
Okay. Well, how do I know?
I don't know. But yeah, Wolfpack, but not the Wolfpack Wolf. We don't have K-Dog involved yet. But
we don't have Disco Inferno involved.
Oh, no Lex Luger. It's not the true Wolfpack.
Lex Luger in jeans.
Oh, come on now. The total package. But yeah, it's the match is kind of it was Piper getting beat or Flair getting beat up. Piper gets the hot tag and clears house. Has Piper always had a shitty sleeper hold, or is it just this one?
I mean, he beat Hogan with it.
You know what?
I don't know.
You're right. You egg on my face, I guess. But at some point, Six gets involved as the ref is distracted. Spin kick to Piper. And this causes Flair to fight Six. They go at it and they fight to the back, which effectively takes Flair out of the equation, leaving Piper all by himself against Hall and Nash. And then it's pretty much just a slow beatdown from there. Wolfpack beats down Piper, and we get the Outsider's Edge for the win. So Outsiders retain, and Flair and Piper got a little beef of brewing, I guess, huh?
Yep, the crowd was pretty hot for anything Flair or Piper did. There was definitely some NWO fan representation, though. The sidewalk slam that Kevin Nash gave to Ric Flair was arguably the biggest one I've ever seen in my life. He jumped to take it, and Flair did not land flat back. He kind of landed on his side. And I'm like, he landed on his side for suplexes all the time, but I've never seen him land on his side for a sidewalk slam. So that was interesting. Brutal. Flair hits a low blow, and Bobby Heenan says, "Oh yeah, that trick elbow." Just man, even as a little quip like that, it's just like, I have history with Flair. I'm going to put him over no matter how I can. Right. And just a little nuance. And I'm like, I was crying. I heard that trick elbow. It's and then even though it kind of hurt the team as a whole, Flair and Six going at it to the back, the crowd was unhinged for that. They were going crazy. So, right. I guess that's good. Did some side research here. It looks like NWO, I think you're a little early, because there was definitely it was right after Hogan lost the title at Starrcade when things started kind of getting wonky with Zbyszko and Bischoff, and then Thunder was a thing, and the Dissension definitely was after Hogan lost.
They probably had multiple bouts of dissension. I promise it was maybe like a 2-week thing.
Yeah. Well, I know Savage definitely had an issue with Hogan at a point. Because they wrestle at Uncensored 98, I think. Right. Because it's Sting versus Scott Hall. And Macho is kind of out as NW. He's kind of his own thing at that point. So, yeah, I don't.
It's all a tangled web, the NWO.
Yeah, well, and that's really crazy when we're only talking about a 2.5 year period. And it's all this stuff. We can't even get it right. There's so much going on every single week.
It's chaos.
Kenny Chaos? Wasn't he a part of High Voltage?
Yeah, more of a... what's the other guy? Rage. What was his first name? Did he have a first name?
No, it's Rage. Just like Cher. Oh, no, I know his first name. Royd.
Okay. That's not very nice. That's the guy from the death match earlier. But we got the main event coming up next.
You mean Ming?
Yeah. No, Ming doesn't. He just eats live hogs for his muscles.
Yeah, he just eats people.
I think so. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. If I had to pick a wrestler that is a cannibal,
Ming.
Well, no, I think maybe I feel like he's a nice guy though.
He is a very super nice guy. He was crying, laughing when he watched the Shockmaster for the first. Yeah, exactly. Do you think the tongue and death grip would hurt even in kayfabe? Do you think he'd fuck around and if you hated taking it, do you think he would? I think it's almost like the mandible claw, but it's underneath. So you're really grabbing the not the Adam's apple, but like right under your chin. I think if you like sold that you didn't like him doing it, I feel like he would do it more for real, and it would really, really hurt.
Yeah, it can get pretty throaty pretty easily, so I guess it would.
Because if you do that, it's like a nerve. It's like that would be with a guy like that, you can crush a watermelon.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a nerve.
Because every time you have someone like come up, you have the instinct to do this, like to kind of tuck your chin. But if someone's coming at you like that, and you just rip your throat out.
Yeah, Colombian necktie. Yeah, something like that.
Tongan death grip, same thing.
Well, next time I get into a street fight, I'm gonna bust out the Tongan death grip, and I'll see. I'll get back to you with the results.
Okay.
See.
As long as it's not a death match.
I don't know what this is. I think it's something else. It's a different kind of grip.
Yes.
Well, speaking about tickling balls, we got the main event on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lights out match, I guess that's what we're calling it.
They added that real late. It was like we announced everybody. Oh, by the way, it's a lights out match, and they're like, "What? What does that even mean?" They're just saying it. No description, no preview. Meanwhile, they got Fall Brawl, and they've got like this happens, this happens, this happens, and then after 5 minutes, this happens, and they describe every single solitary rule, and then this they just boop, lights out. Whatever it means, we won't tell you.
I don't think did they ever say that it was false count anywhere? Because it is, according to Cage Match, it is, and according to commentary.
Wow. Yeah, but commentary is of all the people to know, it's commentary is not the first on the list. They are last to learn any of the rules.
Tony Schiavone, because at some point in this match, Macho has salt, because that's the thing. But Tony's like
powder, sugar, anything.
I think he might got sugar was his first guess. What are we doing, Tony? Sugar?
It's sugar, Tony.
He's about to sweeten the pot.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
He's a filibustering.
Well, there's a lot of plunder in this one as well.
Yeah, a plate? Was it an NWO plate that got shattered?
Was that what that? It looked like real glass, Cry River, but like it looked.
Yeah, it did. Like, well, it shattered like it. It was really good. I
can imagine if it was just. So it wasn't.
It was just ting. Like it just bounced off them.
There's a Cactus Jack Terry Funk match where they were just like hitting each other with bottles and they weren't breaking. It was like,
yes.
Oh. Was it Terry Funk? It might have been Sabu. I forget, but one of those guys.
It could have been either at separate times.
Yeah, I'm sure every amalgamation of those three.
Did you happen to catch Sabu's final match? Or at least see the highlights?
I saw him getting like thrown out of the ring and like Family Guys bumping on the floor.
There was some rough stuff, but props to Sabu on a hell of a career. But
he's if you're gonna go out, it's the only way. He's homicidal,
suicidal.
Maniac wasn't one of them. Death-defying, that's what it was.
He was suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu, but then I'm pretty sure that was in like straight up ECW. When he went to WWE CW, I think they made a shirt that had homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, maniac.
That might be what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm also might be thinking of the Taz Maniac with their a tag team at some point. So
yeah, you're on with that.
There's just a lot of bullshit in my brain that's just floating around in there. But yeah, DDP, Randy Savage. I mean, they had a awesome match. A few years. Was it Slamboree?
No, Spring Stampede.
Spring Stampede, yes. So we got a rematch here. This time it's whatever, essentially like a street fight, false count anywhere type of situation. I mean, the story really is that they just don't like each other and they want to beat each other up. That's pretty much, and also the NWO foundation of it all. But
yeah, and the disrespect of Kimberly,
right?
The spray painting that we saw at Uncensored. So there's definitely some animosity there, but I mean, they have this match here, then they kick it up again in Vegas at Halloween Havoc. So we're not done yet.
Well, they might be 1-1 after this one. Who knows? So Macho comes, and by the way, when I say it, I mean it's a good thing that this feud is so like simple, like the foundation of it all. Like I feel like wrestling needs that. Just kind of just fuck you, let's beat each other up kind of thing.
Simplistic works. It really does.
And they're both, I mean, Macho, I mean, DDP's red hot. Everybody loves Randy Savage, or at least loves watching him. So it was just a good blend here. It's very Attitude Era in the beginning where they're just fighting in the crowd. And I did love the crutch spot where they like fight to the door and then Macho gets thrown through the door. DDP grabs the crutch and he's like waiting like for him to walk through and then hits him. Just
and
chef's kiss.
You want to know what I thought immediately when I saw that spot?
What's that?
It wasn't SummerSlam 91, but it was right after. And it was after Randy and Elizabeth get married. And this is after Jake Roberts already did he had the snake in the box at the reception. Mm-hmm. It's leading up to Mania 8. And I remember Savage is coming through the curtain, but they show him walking up. I think it might be with Elizabeth. And you hear Vince go, "Don't let her come through." And they show the other side. It's the curtain. And it's Jake Roberts waiting with a chair to take out Savage as soon as he walks through. But Undertaker stops the chair. And that's how they feud up until Mania 8. So I'm like, Savage coming back through another door, getting ready to get waylaid again. And this time it actually happened. So, man, you wonder if that was some sort of inspiration. I don't know. But it was like Savage again coming through. It was too obvious for me. But
no, subconsciously, it's got to be. They had to lay that out in the back. You would have to think.
Well, these two loved doing that. DDP loved mapping out matches to the T, especially with a guy like Savage. He's a guy that doesn't need any other assistance. Like, you tell him what he's going to do, he's going to do it. And it's going to be perfect. So perfect dance partners here. Taped ribs DDP is my favorite for sure.
Does he just always have taped ribs after this? Pretty much this point out.
Pretty much, they've made wrestling figures with that too. I love it. It's such he was a character in, I think, WCW Revenge with the tapes. Yes. It was always represented that he had taped ribs. He's got to overcome everything every time.
Got to do that yoga. Got to strengthen that core up, brother.
It's actually DDPY. He changed the name. It's not your mama's yoga.
That's right. I'm going to forget.
DDP hit a top rope plunge into the floor early in this, and I thought, maybe did he learn that from Johnny B. Bad? Because they had a couple of matches.
Ooh, did he busted out the bad day, is what you're saying, right? DDP did, or bad move. I forget which one that one is.
Bad something.
No bad blaster, though, I don't think.
No bad blaster. Well, after the match. The Wall, no affiliation with the Wall brother, made an appearance.
The Wall?
Yeah, when they ran to that concrete wall before they went through the door.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the guy.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
The Wall made an appearance.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Plate shattered on him. Oh, amazing pile driver on referee Mickey J. And Tony Schiavone says, "This is his home." Bobby Heenan says, "Welcome home."
Dude, the close up after Mickey gets pile driven, he's just like, it's just
great sell.
They got that camera shot, but not the finish to Glacier.
They got the referee taking a pile driver, but not one of the workers in a finish of the match. Why would we videotape that?
Who needs it? But yeah, I mean, there's crutches, hubcaps, the plate, like you mentioned, the grill, because there's a whole picnic area.
He whacked him with a Weber. That's what they said.
Hit him with the Weber, and they did. He dumped all that. They had all the charcoal in it,
a barbecue pit. Yeah, and I mean, this is what they're doing.
Flower pots.
An additional ref bump to the second referee.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, as Michael Cole would say, the numbers game. And that was DDP's downfall.
That damn NWO will get you every time. I mean, this match, their first match, it felt like Macho. It felt like DDP was the severe underdog in their first match to me. And he scraped by with the win.
You never thought DDP would get this big. It was his biggest match to that point.
Oh, yeah, by far. By far. But this one, it feels like he's more in control, and it feels like he belongs, which I like that kind of progression of how they're telling this. Yeah,
and I mean, get closer is going to get that match with Savage later on in the year. And then by the following year, he's teaming with Karl Malone and top guy stuff. So give it time. And somehow he's there. He's the people's champ. The real people's champ.
Goddamn right. Don't you forget it. And so DDP hits the Diamond Cutter at some point, but all of the refs that they have been knocked out by Macho Man at this point, except Nick Patrick. Nick Patrick comes in, starts to make the count, but Razor Ramon gets in there, kicks Nick Patrick, stops the count, and Macho in there grabs Scott Hall's tag team title, hits DDP with it, and then Scott Hall with like a deadlift version, it seems like, of the Outsider's Edge. He really had to like lift him up there.
He did.
Strong boy, though. He hit it. And Macho follows up with the elbow drop and gets the 1, 2, 3. So 1-1 these two are, and a rematch is coming. But no, I thought this was very fun.
Yeah, it did not disappoint. These two are great dance partners, as I said earlier. Anytime they get a match together, it was, again, it kind of just happened out of nowhere. They got that first match. They had the interaction at Uncensored, and they were going to try this feud, right? You don't know how it's going to go. And their match at Spring Stampede clearly worked to the front office and people behind the scenes to be like, maybe we have something here. Not just with a feud, but maybe DDP is a hero we can back. And they're kind of, not secretly, but kind of gathering heroes that aren't Sting. You know, Luger throughout 97 is big, as you'll see at Bash at the Beach, and, DDP now. It's like, let's see how many other guys, because you have to Goldberg by the end of the year. You got to get other people to go against the NWO. You can't just have Sting, especially when he's not on TV every week or at all, which really sucks considering the whole damn front row of people had Sting shirts.
Yeah. There's no Sting, no Luger.
No,
no Colonel. What's his name? Code Red.
Robert Parker. Oh no. Craig Pittman.
Is he a colonel? He was something. It was Sergeant Craig Pittman.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to besmirch his rank.
Did you know that Sergeant Craig Pittman had the first ever rappel entrance for WCW, predating Sting?
Yeah, I didn't know that was the first, when he army crawled through the rings.
Fall Brawl 95. Yeah, he comes down, and that was, because what? When did Sting first drop from the ceiling? Had to have been 97. I don't think it happened in 96.
Yeah, it had to be 97 for sure, because it was Fall Brawl when he left.
Censored. We watched it.
Yeah, I guess that was. By the way, some of these things on Nitro, I mean, maybe it's knowing how it can go wrong now, but it is a little sketchy sometimes. He just kind of like snaps it on and then he goes up like very fast.
The fact that they didn't just have him come down and they're like, no, I got to save somebody and take him up with me. That is so nuts in retrospect that they were just like, oh, he'll be fine.
He was, thankfully. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what was the show? Great American Bash, 1997. It's no 2004 Great American Bash.
2004. Give me a break.
It was my first show I ever went to, so it's always going to be the best show of all time. But 1997 is a close second, I think. You know what I'm saying?
I liked 95 a lot. And 96 had the powerbomb through the stage of Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. 95 was Macho Flair, right? Main event?
Yep.
I think Craig Pittman was also on that show, too. That's probably why it was so good.
Well, was that the show where Renegade defeated Arn Anderson for the TV title?
It might have been. I'm curious.
Maybe that's why I like it so much, because the upset of the century happened.
I remember it being like a diamond in the rough of 1995 WCW.
Speaking of Great American Bash 04, though, they are making the Eddie Guerrero with bull rope figure coming out. Yeah. I don't think that would be bloody, unfortunately, but they're dabbling with blood figures now. They're doing a Mania 13 Steve Austin as an exclusive. So you can't buy it in stores, and I think that was their problem, is that you can't have a figure with blood in the stores, but if you make it an online exclusive for collectors, pretty much, you can get away with anything. So I think if it sells out, you might get super bloody Eddie Guerrero, super bloody Cena,
Interesting.
Who knows?
They used to sell like the little thing of blood you can like squirt on the wrestlers.
They had that. There was a company, Figures Toy Company, FTC, from there was a subsidiary, I think, of WrestlingSuperstore.com. They had the quote legends of wrestling figures, and they were like kind of garbage, but there was a regular version and then a bloody version, so you could get both, just in case you wanted it. Because I never wanted to, like, I would just like assume there was blood, or I would say there was blood if I was doing because I had a wrestling figure federation in my past.
Oh.
And yeah, filmed it. It was on YouTube. Put tables on fire in my house. Lit off fireworks in my backyard.
Is it still on YouTube?
They're all private now because it was under my previous handle that I've since switched to fully juice the brand up. But they're there if I ever wanted to bring them out. So we'll see at some point.
Is this like a stop motion vehicle, or is it just
no, dude? I am doing it. My buddy is filming. My buddy is also doing play-by-play, or he's doing color while I'm doing play-by-play. And we did a lot of this. Again, we fireworks in the backyard for pyro. Like, we had a lot of crazy stuff. So
I mean, I had a federation as well. I didn't film it, thank God. It wasn't actually
too bad.
It wasn't wrestling figures, so I had G.I. Joes, but I also had NSYNC. What do you call it? On the strings.
Puppets.
There's a word for marionettes. But I cut the strings off, so they were just action figures. But I only had.
Wait, wasn't that the album title? No Strings Attached.
Yeah. it was the Bye video.
I know, but it was funny that you cut the strings off. There were no strings attached.
See, I was thinking back then. That was the idea.
Yeah, that was a genius idea.
I only had JT. Was it JT or JC? What's his name?
It would have been JC because JT was Backstreet Boys.
JC, okay, yeah. JC, Chris Kirkpatrick, and Joey, I think.
Oh, okay. So 3 out of the 5.
Yeah, but
not
there was
stable.
But it was like an NSYNC faction and then the G.I. Joe's faction. There was a Buried Alive match at some point. It's still buried in my parents' backyard. One of the G.I. Joes. It's a G.I. Joe that got buried. So,
was there ever a War Games 5-on-5 between the two factions?
Probably. Wow. It had to be something. But yeah. Well, maybe we'll bring that back up at some point. Well, we'll combine our federations one day and make a super show. That's money.
I think I will. I will make it my duty to find an original file of said of something, and I will directly send it to you so you can kind of catch what it's all about. Because we weren't really popping off, but you got to think this is 2007.
Yeah,
it's pretty early in YouTube, and we were doing pretty well for that. Like, I got practically almost all of the subscribers I have now, except for maybe a couple hundred, were from that. It was crazy. Really? Like, it was a weird thing at that time. People were doing figure federations, and I was like, oh, I could do this, and I could do it better. And I was very like arrogant, but confident, because I'd always play with my wrestling figures. And then we started doing it, and people like loved it. And I don't know, to even get off on another thing, we would do these call-in shows to discuss stuff on Blog Talk Radio back in the day.
You had a hotline?
So someone infamously, we were doing this show. I don't know. We just love talking about figures in general coming out or anything. Because we would talk about the new figures coming out, but we would refer to it as like, well, they could be a new free agent in the WFF. You never know what's going to happen. The Wrestling Figure Federation. And
of course,
a kid, well, I was a kid too. So what the hell am I talking about? He was like 12 or 13. He said he called the show. He said he was calling from the beach. A kid at the beach felt that it was more important to talk wrestling figures with someone he's never discussed it with instead of being at the beach. That's how over we were.
Jeez. I mean, with how shorts are and reels, I mean, this could pop off.
I know. We have talked about it a lot, me and my buddy. We're like, if we did this now, like if we had the tech then that we do now, and we use tech, we had like a computer monitor at the stage to do our Titantrons.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, so we had a lot of cool stuff. It's just, had we had what we have now, different camera angles, real shorts, we could do so much, but we don't have enough time for that. You know, we got, I know. Could do a lot.
Never too late. That would be that bash would be pretty great in American. But speaking of which, Great American Bash. Well, no, I'm supposed to segue into your podcast. That sounds pretty. Yeah.
Well, I thought we were going to talk about the grading of the show.
Oh, we could. We could.
Yeah. What do you give it? Because you normally ask me first.
Let me pull up because I usually like look at the other scores.
It's like a little comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so they have the same weight to them. Yeah. I'm saying here I could even share it.
The same weight. How much does this guy weigh?
What about this guy?
Was he do your taxes? Who's this guy?
All right, so we got. Is this? You still see it?
Oh yeah. Man, Royal Rumble for giving out all those tickets to Taco Bell. 58 is a pretty damn low score.
It's not a good show. Let's see here. Slamboree got a 73.
Super Brawl 781. Hell yeah.
I don't know if this was as good as Slamboree.
Based on what your scores are here, and before I tell you what mine is, I would agree with you. It's not as good as Slamboree. Close.
Cold Dan
Put it right there.
Is it better than Cold Dan Hell? Cold Dan Hell's okay.
I had more fun. Maybe that's a little biased, but I had more fun watching this than I did Cold Dan Hill. Although, any in your house, man, watching that and then covering it, a trim 2-hour show instead of this 3-hour sweat fest, you know?
I might throw it's probably low 70s, maybe late or high 60s.
Okay. I was going to say 7 out of 10, 70.
I think
feel
70s.
Pretty confident in that. Yeah.
I'll let that marinate for a little bit, but yeah, I think that's
I'd give it
fair.
With your specific range, I'd probably say anywhere from 65 to 70. Purely because for once, the main event delivered.
Yeah, it was bookended by great matches, honestly. So.
Yeah, the first and last match were pretty good. So I would say for once, WCW got something right. And again, isn't that so WCW that the main event that did so well wasn't even for the world title?
Oh.
Like they couldn't get that right.
But hey, we saw Madusa's last match. So that's pretty
evidently
legendary, right?
I don't know. Her knee's pretty messed up. She's not going to be able to sit on the sidelines with that bad knee.
Man, if you were watching that segment, if you're a blind person, you wouldn't know what the hell's going on. Her in the
I couldn't imagine watching any WCW pay-per-view with the commentary that they give. You would be so damn lost. Like, what the hell is clubbering? What does that mean?
I mean, it's confusing to us, and we can see it. So,
who's Bubber?
Well, I don't know who Bubber is, but I know who Juice Springsteen is. That's you, fella. Appreciate you coming on here once again. Always a pleasure. Where can everybody stick their straw inside you and suck out all of everything that's inside of you?
They can get all the juice that they want to extract each and every Friday in one way or the other, whether it's me, whether it's Main Event Maniacs with Brian and Jay, whether we do Drew and Juice and we throw the audio up there. Anything that goes on in the feed is generally on Friday at Juicy Steen on Twitter, at Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram. If you want to see more of these vintage WCW t-shirts, I'm still 10 away from completing my set. So it's, it's going to take a little while, but dude, every time I have interaction with you, it's always a great time. I love doing these shows.
Likewise, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've had WCW, we've done WWF, we've done ECW, and they're always a great time. You give great insight, and it's pretty easy, laid back to do. So appreciate you calling me out of the bullpen for this one.
Always. Maybe I'll throw a TNA at you next time or something. A little something out of the box.
Yeah, give me something between 05 and 09 TNA, and I am in.
That's where we're at, pal. A little Judas Messias action, maybe. Who knows?
Oh man,
could get good.
Yeah, or do it like a hard. What was it? Hard Justice. What was the one with? It might have been 05 with the barbed wire massacre with Sabu and Abyss. That might have been.
Yeah. That was 05, maybe 06. But yeah, we've already passed that, pal.
Okay, well,
but
I'll still watch TNA. They probably do another one.
Abyss. I think him and Judas Messias actually have
that's what you jarred that. I was like, I don't know when that is, but I'm sure they
seems like you want to do a barbed wire match, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I'll do TNA.
We'll figure it out. But I was gonna say something. I had something. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't have a lot of stuff up there. How do you end shows?
I mean, I always say, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully you guys tune in next time for another edition of The Apron Bump.
Well, this comes out on Wednesday, so it's not really weekend time.
That's what I say. You ask me.
Oh, fuck you. We're not doing TNA. How about that?
What are we doing? Wrestling Society X?
What's the one with the lady that says she's going to eat Alexis Lurie's pussy and like cook it? Who's the lady? You know who I'm talking about, right? What's her name? She's like, I'm gonna cook your flesh. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna pull out your tampon and I'm gonna shove it in my like. I'm not even exaggerating. It's like literally that extreme.
How was it? Was it a major company? Was it recent? How about that? Was it recent?
It was
something. I don't know what the hell that quote is, but I feel like it jogged something. I recall
it's definitely something
insane.
about eating somebody's flesh.
Yes. I'm trying to think of other promotions. Was it like
Lady
CMLL or something, or AAA, or
I don't even know what to type in to find this wrestler eating.
Yeah, go ahead and search everything you told me, and then you might want to,
You know what? I'm going to. Okay, there's a lot of porn on here that's coming up in that search.
I was going to say you might want to clear that history if you look that up.
I'm going to cut it in post so everybody doesn't think I'm just a crazy person that just made that up.
My name is Amanda Storm, and I can't believe I came all the way down to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is a total shithole, to wrestle some little skinny chick named Alexis Lurie. Well, I'll tell you, Alexis, not only am I going to beat you in the ring, after the match, I'm going to drag you up by your hair, run over you with my car, skin your fucking ass, put you in the little baggies, take you home, put you in my freezer, and fucking eat you.
Once again, much appreciated to Juice from the Juice Box for returning to the show. Always a good time with my boy Juice. Go follow him. Watch and listen to the Juice Box Wrestling Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube. Follow me, join the Discord. Hey, you know what we got to do is hit that goddamn jingle, Bartholomew. WCW, ECW, WWF, who's the hardest promotion? Eric or Vince or Paulie? I think we can agree, though. Heck Myers is the shit. Alrighty then. The hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, it is WCW versus WWF versus ECW. Looking at this point in time, Great American Bash 1997. So we're not taking into account anything that happens afterwards. We're just as if we were watching live. Is how we're going to be grading this stuff here. We'll get into the scoring system and everything that involves and everything that changes everything. But first, let me just lay out where we are standing as of right now, mid-97. Currently, WCW is in the lead with 29 points. ECW is in second with 25 points. And WWF in last place with 4 points. But we can see major swings pretty quickly, so we'll see what happens here. But first things first, the first step is to grade this show. We talked a little bit about it on the podcast, just kind of informally, but let's give our official grade to Great American Bash here from a scale of 0 to 100. What are we thinking, gang? So we were talking like high 60s, low 70s, and I still agree with that. I'm thinking Slamboree got a 73. I don't think this was as good as Slamboree, so I'm thinking maybe 70, even 70. Super Brawl was an 81. I'm just kind of looking at the other grades that I've given, just kind of to make sure they're all like, weighted the same way. Cold Day in Hell was a 71. Was this better or worse than Cold Day? I might give Cold Day in Hell an edge. I'm thinking. Maybe, I don't know. I think it might actually be just as good as Cold Day in Hell. I'm thinking maybe 71 might be more fair. We'll leave it there. I think it tastes good when it's on my tongue. So 71 for Great American Bash 1997. So now we look at each promotion and their average grades. Currently, ECW is in the lead still with 75, with a grade of 75 for their average grade for these shows. WCW is 72, WWF is 63. So we go to the overall scoreboard. And as we can see, ECW still maintains those 15 points for having the highest average grade as of right now. Best TV product is the next category. We are currently tracking WCW as the best. I still don't think WWF is that great right now. So I wouldn't put WWF above it. ECW's on the come up, but they're just a little bit inconsistent. Just the nature of how they tape and, the format changes from week to week. So I'm going to leave it as WCW because Nitro, I mean, it's a TV company, WCW. Nitro is like their main priority, essentially. So obviously it's going to be pretty compelling, at least, from a story perspective. You'll get some pretty good matches here and there. But it's usually like story-driven stuff that you'll feel like you'll miss something if you miss Nitro. And I like that. So we'll leave it as WCW for now. So they keep those 15 points. So no changes to the scoreboard yet. Next category, best overall in-ring product. We're currently tracking WCW as the best, and I'm inclined to leave it there. Solid showing here with Great American Bash. I've said it before, I think they just have a great top to bottom because they got the cruiserweights, but they also got your heavy hitters like DDP and Macho that we just saw. Even the stuff with the NWO is fine generally. Mortis and Glacier, like that kind of stuff too. So you got like a bunch of different flavors of stuff, whereas like WWF, everything like Brett and Austin do is great. Undertaker's doing some pretty good work right now, but it's kind of like few and far between. There's a lot more shit in between the meadows in WWF and ECW for that matter. So I'm gonna leave it as WCW for now as the best in-ring. So they keep those 10 points. Best out-of-ring product. Also tracking WCW for this. I guess, yeah. Not a lot has changed since whatever the last show we touched on was. That would have been Slamboree, I guess, right? WrestlePalooza, whatever, the last show we talked about. I don't think a lot has changed as far as like overall like stories and like the WCW has got a lot of stuff stems from the NWO, but I mean that's taken over the world right now. We can't it's almost cliche now to say that the NWO is huge and it's taken over the world, but it's a reality and I'm watching it in real time basically. So that can't be understated how good that is, even though it's kind of already getting diluted a little bit. But you got some good stuff in the cruiserweight. Like there's stories in the cruiserweight division with Psychosis and Ultimo Dragon, and there's stories with the women. They're trying a little bit. Like the Harlem Heat and the Steiners got a story. Like you got the overall thing of Sting. Like when is he gonna get back in the ring? You got as silly as it is, like Dennis Rodman and shit. Like they got a lot of compelling story elements in comparison to like WWF, which has a few good things. Really just the Hart Foundation stuff, but which isn't as wide sweeping as the NWO stuff. So, and ECW is solid. They got some good stuff cooking. I think we'll have to, because their last show, WrestlePalooza, was great. I'm gonna need to see a few more good outings. I'm gonna need to see those stories flesh out a little more before I consider putting them in this category, ECW. So for right now, I think best out of ring, WCW still holds on to that. So they keep those 10 points. All right, so now we move on to a section called the best. So all of these are the best of the year so far. Best match. We're tracking Brett and Stone Cold from WrestleMania. Yeah, I think nothing on Great American Bash was better than that. So WWF holds on to those 5 points. Best wrestler of the year. We're tracking Stone Cold. So it's really been a race between Stone Cold and DDP. I think, man, it's tough. It's tough. They're neck and neck, honestly. I'm gonna leave it as Stone Cold for now, just because like DDP, it was a good match here. I don't think we got any major like growth on this show, if that makes any sense, or like evolution of his story. Like it's quality stuff. Him and Macho Man, but it's more kind of like par for the course stuff, I think, which is a good thing. But I think Stone Cold just has that little extra like sizzle. Just a hair more than DDP. But it's close. It's close. So WWF holds on to that 5 points. Best character / storyline. We're tracking Taz. So this is kind of all encompassing of the Taz versus RVD, Sabu, and Jerry Lawler stuff. I think that stuff is super fun, and like Taz has always been a good character, and now for him to have this great foil of, I don't know how long like the Jerry Lawler stuff happens in ECW, but even like just RVD, Sabu, and Bill Alfonso and stuff, like that stuff's really good. It's really good. It's perfect for ECW. It's, a staple. It just slides into what ECW is so well. And you watch that WrestlePalooza show, and it's like people are rabid over it. So I still think there's a lot of good stories happening right now, but I think the whole Taz situation right now has got me gripped the most at this point. So ECW holds on to those 5 points. Best segment of the year, going back to that Jerry Lawler debut at WrestlePalooza. Currently, that's what we're tracking as the best segment. And yeah, Great American Bash didn't really give us anything else better than that. And really haven't been much on Nitro that I would put above that. There's been some cool like Sting run-ins, but yeah, nothing as long-term interesting as the Jerry Lawler debut in an ECW arena. That was crazy. So ECW holds on to those 5 points. So now we move on to the worst. Worst match, Undertaker versus Sid, WrestleMania 13. Is Conan versus Hugh Morris worse than that? I don't think so. I just had to say it out loud, but no, it's not. Also, Undertaker and Sid was a main event of WrestleMania, and that is just going to amplify the poor quality so much to where I doubt anything's going to overtake this. But yeah, so WWF holds on to that -3 points. Worst wrestler of the year. I'm laughing because Prince Iaukea, we haven't seen in a while. So now we're getting to the point where it's like, I mean, to be the worst or the best, you have to be like consistently bad or good. Now, if Prince Iaukea just fucks right off and he came in and had a few shitters with like Rey Mysterio and whoever the hell else, I don't even remember at this point. Regal maybe. Yes, the fact that he had a bad match with Rey Mysterio just pisses me off. Anybody worse than Prince Iaukea? At this point, I'm trying to think back to the TVs. Crush used to be in the slot. I wouldn't say he's done anything worse in this time period. Conan, no. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it as Prince Iaukea for now. I don't think he'll be here at the end of the year, but no one really comes to mind. Oh, fuck. Savio Vega maybe kind of stinks right now in the nation. Or I guess he's kind of out of the nation now. I'm thinking there's got to be somebody in WWF that's worse, right? Maybe not. Oh, no. We'll leave it as Prince Iaukea. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or like on Spotify. They allow comments too. Comment there. Or, join the Discord and let me know if there's anybody that I'm like overlooking as like the worst or in any of these categories, really. But I can't think of anybody worse at the moment. So WCW holds on to that -3 points. Worst character / storyline. The whole deal with Honky Tonk, Billy Gunn, and Jesse James. Yeah. We're going to leave that there. And we're also going to leave the worst segment of the year, Miss NWO. So WWF and WCW both hold on to those -3 points, respectively. Therefore, no changes. Sorry, I'm like, there's like pollen in my throat and my ass. Anyways, No changes to the scoreboard, everybody. WCW still in the lead with 29. ECW in second with 25. WWF pulling up the rear with 4 points, but still a whole half of the year to go. So a lot can change. A lot can change. So make sure you stay tuned, stay locked in to the hardest promotion battle because it's high stakes, high blood pressure, and high sperm count? I don't know. But anyways, that is about all I got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Always appreciated. Leave a comment, a thumbs up my ass, poke me, prod me. Comment. Did I ever say comment? Review, rate, spit in my mouth, call me a dirty whore, do all of those things. And yeah. See ya, I guess. I don't know. Get the hell out of here. Love you. Mwah. I'm hard.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.